This is my 1984 Ford F-250. I bought this truck from my grandpa, who actually purchased it in 1984, brand new, off the lot. Randomly one day he decided that it's taking up space in his driveway, wasn't really driving it, he was gonna get rid of it. I jumped all over it. I wanted to own this thing. Lots of memories in it, lots of seat time in it, picking different stuff up. The list goes on. I can remember this truck as far back as I can remember anything. Before I acquired this truck, I owned a newer Super Duty that was just sitting in the driveway and I was making payments on it. So I thought, why make payments on a truck that's just sitting in the driveway that I hardly use, except when I'm pulling or hauling something? This thing checked all the boxes. Doesn't cost me any money, still looks great, and it can sit for months at a time, and it always just fires right up. You throw a load behind it, and you drag it 3-4 hours from home and back, and it'll do it every time, no complaints. Now, you're only gonna get that kind of work ethic out of a truck for so long. I mean, this old girl is now over 40 years old, and she's starting to have some complaints. Recently, pretty sure the clutch throwout bearing started making some noise, which that sucks. The clutch still feels great, but we should probably just do a new clutch all the way while we're in there, along with some other things. Probably need some filters. I got control arm bushings that are non-existent and just gone. I got some sort of other noise kind of going on. So we're gonna pull this thing into the garage, assess what needs to be fixed and what we can maybe put off for a little bit longer, but get this thing working and operating again, because she's my workhorse. And we got trailers and we got stuff that we need to move and haul, and this is my main girl for that. So we need it back up and going and reliable. So here's what I know. Pretty sure we got a noise coming from our clutch. I got a noise in the front end when I'm turning one direction. And that wasn't a band reference. Pretty sure it's to the left, but there's a little bit of squealing going on. And I already kind of checked the wheel bearings. Didn't seem like it was coming from them, so not really sure. But I do know the control arm bushings are worn to the point where one is missing, non-existent, not even there. I got a rear output shaft seal that's leaking, and who knows what else. So I'm gonna kind of roll around underneath this thing, see what I can find, and see what I'm absolutely gonna need before we get started. I'm also gonna pre-spray everything while I'm under here, because I can already tell you, and I already know, that 40 years of being in here is not gonna be fun to break loose. Kindly explain to me why the carpet, the rubber matting, would go over the shift boot. Bro, I do not want to pull the seat and the kick panels and the carpet just to undo this shifter. That's ridiculous. Can I just catch a break? So I was really hoping to sneak this bell housing past the exhaust, but I don't know that I'm gonna get that lucky. Gotta come just a little bit more. Y pipe goes right where the starter goes in the bell housing, and I think that is honestly the little bit that is keeping me from getting this thing all the way out. Right there. Okay, just because I'm in my own head about this, I have rigged up a bolt inside that throwout bearing, and I'm gonna attempt to put a drill behind it and spin it and see if I can duplicate any noise. The bearing just doesn't look as bad as I thought it would, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not bad. But it would make me feel a lot better if I could spin it and it starts howling or grinding, making some sort of noise before I go spend money. Okay, the spin test concluded nothing, really. But it didn't make any noise, and after doing some further inspection, I think maybe my noise could possibly be in the pilot bearing inside the flywheel. That seems to feel a little rough in there. Not really for sure. But I will say this, I'm going against every bone in my body, and I'm turning down putting a clutch in this thing. And I'll kind of explain myself. First of all, this clutch, I feel like the clutch disc looks pretty darn good. Doesn't look very worn at all compared to a new clutch that I would be putting in there. Also, this clutch has been great, never given me any issues, and I worry that my replacement clutch won't be as good a quality. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it's saving me money, and I feel a little bit better about it, seeing how good a shape this clutch is in. Like I said, typically I would never do that. It's so much work to pull this transmission out, just put a new one in. But with time restraints and everything else, if I was doing that, it'd be a lot cooler if I was putting like a big bad clutch in it, you know, something way stronger. But I'm not. I would be just putting a parts store clutch in there that the reviews are kind of iffy on. So I think I'm just going to take my chances. I'm going to put a new pilot bearing in there. I'm going to put a new throwout bearing in there. We're going to put it all back together and cross our fingers that it's great. Okay, we pulled some late hours through the night to get the transmission at least kind of back into the truck, ready to go. So we didn't do that clutch, but we did do a new transmission mount, did a new rear output seal that was leaking, so those are in there. New pilot bearing, new throwout bearing. I'm crossing my fingers that fixes the noise that we got going on. Now, of course, we got other stuff going on that we got to repair, but I'm getting ready to put it back down on the ground. But first, I'm gonna change out my oil filter and my fuel filter. I replaced these filters when I first got the truck years ago, and I haven't touched them since. And since this thing eats oil like it's going out of style, I'm just spinning on a new filter, and I never even worry about changing it. It goes through it so fast. I'm adding quarts every couple 100 miles, so win-win. Okay, so let's take this thing for a little rip down the road and see if I just pulled that whole transmission out of this truck for no reason at all. Because I'll be honest, I'm nervous about it. I did not see anything other than maybe that pilot bearing that was like a definitive, that's the noise. I really took a shot in the dark on this one. Hope it doesn't bite me. First impression, I don't know if I'm just in my own head, but it feels like the clutch pedal is traveling further out to engage, or like it's softer, but it's the same clutch, so maybe it's just me. I think we're good. I didn't hear that noise, so I think that's good. Let's take a look underneath. I think I might have lucked out because I don't see my rear seal leaking. And the reason I say that is because we couldn't find the right seal. So we were kind of like cross-referencing stuff over the counter, and that didn't look like it fit too good, but it's not leaking. So after putting everything back together, we hauled 8,000 pounds worth of dirt and gravel, and I had a vibration. I think I found it. Yeah. That ain't right. I won't lie to you, I'm not looking forward to this job. These bushings might be a serious pain to get out of there, since you gotta pull that control arm all the way out of that bracket. But it's gotta be done, so we're gonna get into it. My plan of attack is basically take as little as possible apart and just keep trying. That way I don't overthink this. Does that make sense? So I don't take more apart than I actually had to, since I have no clue the extent of what I gotta take apart to get this done. So that's how I'm gonna approach it. Make sure you always use a strap that's been compromised. That way when you do these things, it's extra sketchy. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. Go! And I chalked that up as a total, complete loss. Everything had to come apart.